Let me ask you something strange. Right now, are you feeling an emotion? Maybe you're calm, stressed, or excited about something. But here's the interesting question. Is the feeling itself the emotion, or is something happening inside your brain and body, and then you're becoming consciously aware of it? Because if those two things aren't exactly the same, it changes how we understand anxiety, depression, panic, anger, excitement, and even something as physical as breathlessness. And here's where it gets really interesting. Scientists don't completely agree on what an emotion actually is. So let's unpack what we do know. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Devi Sundar, an integrative mind-body medicine consultant. I specialize in integrative conscious breathing, supporting people to reconnect with their body, understand their nervous system, and create conditions to move from simply surviving to thriving. Through my one-to-one emotional breathlessness intensive, I support people who are disconnected from their breath, overwhelmed by stress, or carrying patterns of tension, holding, and emotional protection. I also create breath art and take a breath community events, bringing awareness to the beautiful relationship between breath, body, emotions, and well-being. In this video, I'm going to unpack what is emotion and feeling. Stay with me until the end because what scientists have discovered might surprise you and change the view how you feel about your emotions. In our everyday conversation, emotion and feelings are used synonymously. We say, I'm feeling angry or I'm experiencing anger. Same thing, right? Well, not necessarily. Now let's see what's the scientific distinction between emotion and feeling. Emotion, think of it like a whole system in action. Your brain is evaluating something. Your body is changing, your attention shifts, your behavior may prepare for action. Your heart rate might change, your muscle might tense, and much of this can happen before you consciously thinking about it. Feeling is a conscious experience of what's happening, the part you can actually report. I'm scared, I'm angry, something feels wrong. So those are feelings. Think of it like this. Emotion is old orchestra and feeling is what it sounds like to you. But and this is important, scientists don't all agree that this is a complete picture. Now, let me explain with an example. Imagine you're walking through a forest and suddenly there is a bear. What's the sequence? Most people say, I see the bear and I feel afraid. My heart started pounding. But psychologist William James looked at this differently. In 1884, James proposed something that sounded almost backwards. He suggested you see the bear, your body reacts, you experience a feeling of fear. Your heart races, your muscle tense, you start sweating, and your conscious experience of those bodily changes contribute to I'm afraid. Around the same time, physiologist Carl Lang proposed a similar idea. That's why we call it James-Lange theory. The revolutionary idea was maybe the body isn't simply reacting to the emotion, maybe the information from the body's reaction helps create the feeling. And that question, does the body create the feeling or the brain create that emotion first, is still alive in modern emotion science. Now fast forward to the work of neuroscientist Antonio Damasio. Damasio studied people with damage to the parts of the brain that's involved in connecting the decision making with the bodily signals. These people could still think, reason, calculate, and discuss decisions, but their real world decision making could become remarkably impaired. Damasio proposed the somatic marker hypothesis. Think of your body as constantly sending your brain little notification, heart rate, muscle tension, sweating, gut sensations. It's almost like your body is adding little good idea or something's wrong here notification to your decisions. And sometimes that happens before conscious reasoning catches up. This is one reason the phrase gut feeling isn't just poetic language. Your brain and body are constantly communicating. Your body isn't just a passenger, it's a part of the information processing system. Now let's jump to one of the biggest modern debates. Psychologist and neuroscientist Lisa Feldman Barrett developed what is commonly called theory of constructed emotion. Imagine your brain is not a filing cabinet. It's like a more prediction machine. Your heart suddenly starts pounding. Does that automatically mean fear? Not necessarily. Imagine your heart is pounding because you're running from a danger. That's one context. Now imagine your heart is pounding because you're about to go to the stage, and that comes from fear of performance. It's a different context. Now imagine you're on a roller coaster. It's a different context. Same basic bodily signal, potentially very different experience. So Barrett's theory proposes that brain uses past experiences, contexts, bodily signals, and concepts to construct what the current emotional event means. So your brain isn't simply reading, raising heart means fear. It's asking something more like, given everything happening right now, what does this bodily state mean? And this is where interoception becomes important. So, interoception roughly means your brain sensing and processing of what's happening inside your body, your heartbeat, your breathing, your stomach, your temperature, your internal state. Your brain uses these informations alongside the context and a prior knowledge. So, two people can experience similar physiological response but experience it differently. One person might say, I'm terrified, another might say, I'm excited, another might say, I'm nervous, for the same physiological response, heart racing. Now, Now, here's an important correction. Sometimes people summarize constructed emotion theory like this: the body creates emotion and then the brain interprets as a feeling. So that's actually too simple. A most recent 2025 paper from Barrett and colleagues pushes back against this idea of body versus mind split. The argument is that we shouldn't imagine emotion as an assembly line: body, emotion, and feeling. Instead, emotion involves an integrated regulatory process involving both your brain and the body. The brain is regulating the body, predicting, controlling action, using the incoming information, and constructing mental events. The brain isn't simply waiting for the body to play a state. The brain and body are interacting continuously, and hence the conscious feeling is a part of the larger process. So now, are the emotion and feeling the same? Not necessarily. And it is also not two completely separate things. The most useful way to think about them is emotion is a larger process and feeling is a conscious experience what's happening. But even that is a model, not the final word, because scientists are still debating exactly what an emotion is, how universal emotion really are, how much comes from biology versus learning and culture, and how the brain turns bodily information into conscious experience. And maybe that's the most fascinating part, because every time you say, I feel, you're describing the conscious tip of an incredibly complicated brain body process. And that changes the question. Instead of asking, is this feeling real? We can ask, what is my brain and body doing right now? And how is my brain making sense of it? Until my next video, stay curious, stay healthy.